Hello friends, and happy Tuesday to all of you. Today I'm trying something a little different. We are doing our very own scrapbook workshop, the Autumn to Remember scrapbook workshop kit. And we did some prep last week. So as you join me, let me know if you were able to view that video and if you were able to prep right along with me. So let me know in the comments if that's something that you did, if you were able to kind of prep, and if you're planning to scrap along with me. Okay, hi Sherry, hi Ken. Welcome. So good to see you. This is going to be really fun. It took me, I think last week, about 30 to 45 minutes to kind of pre-cut and go through the instructions. Hi Amy. And it would have taken me less time if I had realized that there were labels on the back, and I will show you that in just a minute. So hopefully that was a time saver for you. And today we're going to put together 3 two-page spreads, so 6 pages. So this will be a little bit longer live, so just so you know what you're getting yourself into. And I hope that some of you are crafting right along with me, so let me know if you are here making this scrapbooking workshop kit with me, okay? I'm going to flip my camera around and show you some products, and then we'll dive right in. Hi, Tina. Okay, so this is the Autumn to Remember. Let's get all centered in here so you don't need to see all my busy stuff. Okay, I think, and Abby, you can let me know if we need to zoom in or not. Okay. All right, so this is the Autumn to Remember scrapbooking workshop kit. And I'm going to go over this in just a second. But I want to also point out some of the other products that coordinate or go along with this kit. You have the Autumn to Remember stamp set. This is a photopolymer stamp set. And you've got some different titles and images that complement the designer series paper and coordinate that way. So if you're making additional pages or an album, you can use this stamp set in your crafting and cropping. So there's the stamp set. You also can purchase the sticker sheet with the designer series paper. So this is just one sticker sheet. You've got a couple of different titles and some little strips here at the bottom, flags and pieces that we're going to use in these pages. But it comes with the designer series paper when you order them together. So you can order this as a combo, the designer series paper and the sticker sheet, or you can order the sticker sheet, the designer series paper on its own. Okay, so together, if you want the sticker sheet or designer series paper on its own. So we've got 4 each of each design. So you've got 3 different designs on one side, and you can kind of see those. And then on the back, you have the other design. So you're talking 6 designs with front and back, and then you've got 4 sheets of each. Okay, so you can use that for your memory keeping or scrapbooking. And you can buy this designer series paper on its own or with the sticker sheet, all right? Okay, so then we've also got some two-tone cardstock, and you can kind of see how that plays out. They're beautiful colors, autumn colors together. So you've got the dark side and the light side to give you some variation in color. So you can choose to use, if you're doing a spread, you can do the same, or you can mix and match however you choose, kind of that dark and light. Love the two-tone cardstock. They're so fun to play with because they've got that white core, and so you can rip and tear and emboss and sand and do all kinds of techniques with these too. And it gives you just a variety of colors to choose from too. Maybe you don't want full strength. Maybe you want the light side, and I know we're doing that in some of the kit. It asks to use the light side, which is fantastic. But look at these colors all together. Just wanted you to see the light and the dark all together. Okay, so this is the two-tone cardstock pack that you can order that coordinates. But let's dive into the Autumn to Remember scrapbooking workshop kit. So this is a kit that hasn't been put together. I did some prep last week, and if you didn't have a chance to see that, you can go back and look at it. It's the Autumn to Remember kind of prep that we did. But it comes with an instruction sheet. You've got pictures of how the pages work. You've got some other materials that you can use if you choose. And for project 1, 2, or 3, the photos that you'll need. So if you're like me and you want to prep photos ahead of time, then you can. If not, then you have some photo placeholders for these. But there are some cutting maps, and I'm just going to go over this very quickly because we did do that prep last week. But follow the instructions. It's important, I feel like, to read those. You get all of your materials. The cut orientation is below, so you'll see that the front of the page, when you're looking at it, of the designer series paper, when you cut it, the trees are going to be sideways on this cut. And then you always start with this first cut where the scissor is. Okay, and then some of these pieces have an asterisk next to them, and that's because you're going to use the back side. So I had a pencil with me, and I just labeled 2C, 2F, 1C, and I've got all my pieces together. So let me show you what comes in the kit. You have the designer series paper, 2 of each. You also have exclusive pieces. So this you'll recognize from the DSP, but this right here is exclusive. Okay, so you've got 2 of those. You've got a stripe that I think is exclusive. You've got this other pattern here as well. And they're white-sided, so they're not double-sided. Okay. And then, of course, the sticker sheet and some two-tone cardstock that you're going to use. So if you're like, I'm just going to use the Scrapbooking Workshop Kit, that's great. I feel like I'm picking up something. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we've got a few different colors and some white here in the back that comes in that. And then we've got some die cuts here. Now here, if you take nothing else away from this scrapbooking workshop or scrapbook workshop that I'm having here, this is what I want you to pay attention to, because I didn't. And I realized afterward, so I'm going to save you time if you have not put yours together. But on the back of the die cut sheets, you're going to see project labels here. So project 2, project 2, project 1. I didn't even look at this last week when I was prepping until the end. And so that will save you time because you're not looking at the photo of the page trying to figure out what pieces go where. Okay, so then we've got a die cut sheet of this like wood, it looks like wood cut, kind of this, it's not really textured, but it's cool. It does, I feel like it should feel like wood. Anyway, so it's laser cut, and you've got all these different pieces that you can use on your pages, okay? And then, of course, you get all your photo holders for your pages so that you can, if you don't have the photos ready, then you can place them with the pages that they go with. Okay, so that is the Scrapbooking Workshop Kit, Autumn to Remember, kind of all the pieces. So if you were with me last week, then you know that I went through and did all of the cutting, and I've just put each project in a folder. That was helpful for me when I was sorting. I had project 1, project 2, project 3, and then I just stuck them in a folder so that I could stack them and not worry about all the pieces falling out. So we've got all of the pieces that we need. Most of the die cut pieces, things like that, they've been labeled, they're ready to go. And so we, my friends, will dive in to this crop and this scrapbook workshop. These are my instructions. I'm actually going to take this one, and I've got a little magnet board up in front of me so I can look at the master spread, and then you also have them in your packet. So the left page and right page, that's going to be helpful as we put this together. So I'll just set this aside so that I can see what I need. And Abby's also here with me. And so if you have questions for me, she's going to monitor comments, or if you are like, oh my gosh, I don't really know how this works, or whatever, then let me know. And Abby can ask me questions, and I will do my best to answer. So I've got all of these pieces. They're kind of put together, like I put them in the pack. The way that I'm going to pull them out is how it kind of turned out. So I'm starting just with the instructions for this 2-page spread. It says to use the light old olive cardstock, so I'm not using the dark. I'm going to use the light, and I'm going to set my 2-page spread out here and do them at the same time. So let me know in the comments if you choose to do 1 page at a time or if you do a spread at a time. I'd be curious to know that, how you're cropping, and it might have something to do with the space that you have available. So we've got our 2 sheets. So this is attach 1A, and at the bottom it says attach 1G. So you can see that I've labeled 1A and 1G. Okay, so that's going to be the base. I'm just going to use whatever adhesive. I've got some seal, I've got some tear and tape, so whatever adhesive you choose to use is fine.
Nancy wants to know if you're going to be doing this again in the future with more product.
Oh, great question. This is something I wanted to try. And so if we get a good response, then I'm absolutely happy to do this again if it's helpful for me to craft right along with you. Keep in mind that this is like my second time doing projects from the Scrapbooking Workshop kits. So I'm learning right along with you. And if you are an expert at some of these from our close to my heart friends, then I would love to hear your tips and tricks as we go through this. But if it works out well and you love it and you're sharing it, if it's helpful for you, then I am absolutely willing to do this again. Okay, so we have attached 1A and 1G. Now the next few pieces I'm going to dovetail. So that's kind of what the instructions say, and you're like, well, what is dovetailing? So it's just flagging your bottom so that you create kind of those banner pieces across the top. I'm going to lay them out where they go first, just so I can take a look. Make sure I've got them on each page. I don't know if you can see all this as I'm going along. Okay, and then the next one. They're kind of mirroring each other. So this way I'll know which way I'm cutting. I can decide which animals I want to be facing up because they're kind of situated all around the paper, so it doesn't really matter. Now, here is my tip for cutting the dovetail. I always slice right up the middle. If you are worried about having it be exact, then I would measure the middle and create a little dot there. Let me show you kind of what that would look like. I had my pencil, which I've put down somewhere now. Okay, so I'll just use a pen here, my marker. So this, if I was going to measure this, I'd get my trimmer out. I'm not going to measure it, but this is how I would create a flag, is I would just measure kind of about the middle and maybe, I don't know, like an inch up, okay? And then that way I can either use a paper trimmer or my snips and just cut from point to the center. So you can do that a couple of different ways. You can just cut up the center if you didn't want to make the mark. And then I can point my snips in the right direction, point to point. So however you choose to do this is just fine. Okay, so I've made a little flag there. And I'll do that with each one of these pieces. And I am not super picky about how this goes, so I am just going to kind of wing it, okay? You might think I'm crazy, that's okay. Okay, so I'm just going to meet in the middle, right here, for my banner piece. Next one, I'm going to do these two together. Any tips for creating a dovetail on your project? Do you use your paper trimmer or do you use scissors? Now, what if you're saying to yourself, well, this is really great, Sarah, it's fun to watch you craft, but I'm not really a scrapbooker. Well, that's okay. You don't have to be. But I think that there are lots of reasons why you might want to scrapbook. So maybe you don't take family photos, or maybe you're not really great at taking photos. Well, that's okay. What if you capture just some thoughts? Maybe this becomes a journaling exercise for you. Maybe you will grab some photos from your phone or quotes that you like, and it's a witness to the things that inspire you. So I think we plan to use photos on the page, but what if you didn't? What if it was just a way to capture your thoughts or feelings about a season? or a time in your life. It's really just a snapshot or moment in time, right? So maybe let me know in the comments if you scrapbook, what you scrapbook. And maybe if you don't, then what's holding you back? Okay, so we're going to attach these right in the center. I'm going to do my middle one first. Put that right in the middle, roughly. Now, if you want this to be exact, I am going to point out that there are measurements in the instructions. So if you are worried about how far away from the side this paper is, it's 1/4 of an inch, or this photo piece is 1 inch. Like, it's all labeled here for you. If that's something, if you want to have a ruler handy and you want to measure it, that's totally okay. But that's what these little measurements are here, is they're going to tell you how far from the side or the top or the side those pieces are. So if that's helpful, then just grab your ruler and measure away.
So we got Pia said she scrapbooks holidays and vacations mostly. Sunny says you could use it as a daily journal.
Ooh, love those ideas.
Sharon said a home decor piece.
Oh yes, absolutely. Love that idea.
And Genevieve said my first scrapbooks were just mementos, like newspaper articles when I was in spelling bees.
Oh, okay, that is a great idea. Also, okay, keep them coming. Keep them coming. I would love to know.
Tony said I did my 3 kids' lives from birth to graduation.
Oh my gosh.
That's
I am amazed.
Yeah. Now I scrapbook my SU adventure trips with my friends.
Oh, so you did your kids. I feel like I should just give you a great big hug. I hope your kids appreciate that you did that for them, that you captured their lives in that way. I have bits and pieces of my kids' albums, actually. They are not finished. So I'm excited a little bit about the opportunity to get back into scrapbooking because I have a lot of work to do. Okay, so I think we're about there with our flag pieces. And mine are not perfect. If you are about perfection, measure. You can tell that I'm not. Can you see that? That's okay. My photos are going to be right on top of it, and I'm not worried about it. Okay, let's see. What's next? So I've gotten those. Now I need a place to put my photos. And so it's talking about attaching. This one is 1E, and this one is 1K. So I'm on step 4 of my instructions. Right here. Okay, so it's saying attach photos. Once I attach these, then I'll attach my photos. Okay, so I'm keeping track of my pages over here so I can just have a reference point, and then we'll attach some photos. And I kind of want these to line up across, but maybe not be exact. I know I'm going to put a title above it. I want to see the pieces below. Okay.
Dorothy scrapbooks her whole family, including her grandchildren. She has a book for each grandchild for all birthday and school pictures.
Oh, I am so impressed. So you're seeing who, in the comments, who has done this and is tried and true. So you know who the experts are for sure. That's amazing. Amazing. For this particular spread, I chose to feature some photos from just a Sunday walk. This was at the end of September, and we went up Provo Canyon, which is a canyon close by, and we had a walk. We took a blanket, we took the pups, we took our niece with us, and it was really fun to just walk and sit and visit. We really weren't there very long when it all came down to it because it started to rain, but that was also a fun memory that I want to capture in the journaling, right? That we did that quick drive and we enjoyed the beautiful changing colors, and then we got rained on. I wish we'd gotten a picture of us with like wet hair and totally waterlogged. That would have been fun too, but at least I can capture it in the journaling. Okay, so I've got my photos ready. So attach photos, you can use tear and tape, or I've got my seal handy. And then we just, once we've got the base of the page, then we can embellish with the die cuts. Now, because I had my photos ready to go, I'm going to save these photo placeholders for another project maybe. And then I've got all of these die cuts. Let's see if you can see these. You can't see all of them, but this is the one with the big circle. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of place these things where I want them to go, roughly, and then I'm going to add as we go. But let me just sort. I want you to be able to see this. So if I've got these 2 pages, I'm just going to, I've got this journaling piece that's going to go right here. I've got all these little labels. Oh, I think I might have put this.
Nancy says you should do your grandbaby.
I should do my grandbaby's pictures, absolutely. Maybe if I get ahead now, then I won't get behind ever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, just keep buying the kits.
Yes, exactly. I feel like this is a really doable way to scrapbook, actually. Like, I don't have to think about it. Do I love the designs all the time? No. Is it really about that? Not for me. For me, I feel like it's about just capturing those memories so that I can look back on them. So I'm just kind of placing these pieces where I want them to go. And I am kind of sticking to the layout. I'm looking at this first page so that everything is kind of roughly where I need it to be. And I might deviate a little bit from that on some of the other pieces. So let's see.
Yeah, Catherine says, I've done over 30 scrapbooks and don't sweat the small stuff.
True. It's just about getting everything documented. And actually, I would sweat the journaling more than the layout. I think that the story is the most important piece. That's really what you want to remember, is why you took the photo, where you were, who you were with, why you were even doing that. So I'm going to use some glue dots. I feel like, I know I'm on camera, but I'm just going to use a little glue dot to tack down this piece. It's getting stuck on the corner. There we go.
Catherine got some kits for her granddaughter's birthday present. She likes to share family photos of my great-grandkids.
Oh,
So
wow. Fun. You amazing, amazing people. These are things that are going to be remembered and treasured. Mm-hmm. And it's not because they look amazing, might I add. Like some of the things that I treasure most are some of my first albums that I did. Like, who remembers using like stickers and like cutting your photos up and like some of the things that we would never do now, like cutting around people. Like, I don't know that I would ever do that again. So, but I love looking back because I'm remembering doing them, and I'm also remembering the time and why I did it, that time in my life, and my kids really love looking at them too.
Someone asked about using liquid glue to attach photos instead.
I think you totally could. I have it out here. Does anyone know if it's like acid free? I'm assuming it is. I'm assuming it's safe for photos. So I also have that here. So if you're talking about using liquid glue, you totally could, especially for some of these detailed pieces. I know that this is going to go in a page protector. So as long as I've got it tacked down where it needs to go, I'm not as worried about it myself. Mostly it's ease of use for me. So whatever adhesive you prefer to use. But this particular weekend was fun. The leaves are just starting to change. So many people were up the canyon. I feel like it was like a very busy Sunday. And so we kind of had to not fight for space, but it took us a second to find parking. And once we were out on the trail, it was fine. And there was a waterfall along the way. It was just fun. It was fun to be together.
Well, Leanne says she doesn't like to use liquid glue on photos because it creates bubbles behind the photo.
Okay, and I also think it depends on how your photos are printed too. That's a great point. So if you're worried about bubbles on your photos, then for sure stick with a different adhesive. My photos are printed just on a home printer, like just color photos, and they're matte. So it's just like using it with cardstock. But if you had a different photo paper or something, that may impact the adhesive that you use, for sure. Love all of your ideas though. Okay.
Susan and Genevieve are reminiscing about the photo corner mounts, the stickers that you put down to put your
Do you remember
photos
these?
in.
Yes. Do you remember the small ones and you just get them in like a pack? That's awesome. Okay, I think I am down to my little woodcut pieces. I am going to use some liquid glue for these. Let's see, I want this on the other page. I'm going to set that here. Have a little, I'm going to use the bigger one on this side. And then the little one. Okay, so this one can go over here. Just a little bit of glue here and there. I'm just accenting this beautiful view on my page.
Sylviane, hopefully I'm saying your name correctly, scrapbooked her kids' school pictures and special moments from preschool to high school and gave them as graduation gifts.
Okay, I have to ask about that. I love that you did that. I've gathered all my kids' photos, and they're starting to all graduate, from high school. I have one left. And so did you just do that all in one album and keep it really simple? Like, tell me more about that, about the scrapbooking the kindergarten through high school. So if you have done that, let me know what your strategy was, how you put all that together. I must know. Did you just stick with like a color scheme, or my thought was that I would just grab some black cardstock and some titles and then accent them differently. Like I would just do a whole album with a certain color background or something like that. Okay. Now the only thing left that I need to embellish, it looks like, on the master sheet, and you wouldn't need to do this either, but I do like this, golden leaves and autumn breeze. It should say rain too for me. Okay, and that's a little sticker. And then we've also got this little piece right here so that I can list, there we go, I can list the date and some more info up here at the top. So we'll just put that right here.
Pia said you could do the school colors.
Yes, I think school colors is a great idea too. But then just do it all at once. My question is, did you make that as you went along, or just you gathered all the photos and you made it in one sitting, like one theme? I started to do my older daughter as we went along. Like I would do pages in preschool and things like that, and then I got out of the habit, and now I'm looking to just do that all in one fell swoop. So, okay, second page. I'm going to move on to this. Now, normally I would probably not adhere my journaling piece because if I mess it up, then I want a chance to fix it. But I'm just putting a little bit of adhesive on the back so that I know where it goes. I'll use a pencil probably first so that I don't ruin it. And we'll add a little sticker to the top. Good times. And then I've got some little trees that go at the bottom. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot my little strip. Follow the instructions, Sarah. My little zippy strip at the bottom. So this is going to go to the edge. At least for me, that's what I want it to do. I want it to anchor the sides of the page.
So Catherine did a 30-year album for her son. It started with his sonogram picture and his birth and then continued through his wedding.
Whoa. Okay, is it all one album? That I have to know.
Sounds like it.
All one album? Just all together? So you just took the most important photos, school photos or whatever, and they ended up in one album. I love that.
Pia says her kids have many books, and she's been going all along, but she said you can do whatever works.
Oh, thank you for the encouragement.
She gives a book to her niece every year so she can add pictures for each month as her Christmas gift.
Also a fabulous idea. Make it easy. I keep wondering if I need to do that for my granddaughter. Like maybe I would just do that and say, just put your pictures in, or I'll make it and then they can just give me pictures along the way. Or pictures that I, snag off of Instagram or something like that.
Tina, for her son's 30th birthday, she did a 2-page spread for each of their family vacations over 30 years, that's awesome.
That would be amazing. I'm turning my letters. I don't really want them to be completely straight. If you want them straight, then I would recommend lining them up at an anchor point on the designer series paper. Okay, so this is like my autumn title. And then get my little arrow up here. I love all of your ideas. Keep them coming. It's very inspiring. Because I think for many of us feel overwhelmed. And I'm like, I'm just going to start with photos that I have. Or I'm going to grab a scrapbooking workshop kit and I'm going to find photos in my phone that go with it. And I'm totally okay with that if it's not something chronological. Now you can also, you can choose to capture memories however you want. And you can follow the layouts for the scrapbook workshop, or you can not. One of the pieces on the instructions for these, this spread says that you can use a Stampin' Write marker and you can write on the leaves. I'm actually not going to do that. I think they're cute the way that they are, and that's totally your call.
Veronica's been doing albums for her kids. She has 3 and they're older. They started from birth and so far they all have 2 albums.
Oh.
I thought those were fun to look through. And Glad said, for the first year of my grandboy's life, I took pictures of what I did with them. Oh, so many pictures. I was a granny nanny.
See, and I just think they're going to remember that for forever. And so to showcase those, even in just a small album, I think is meaningful. The albums I do have, my kids look at. Like they look at them every now and then, as long as they're accessible. Okay, we're going to set this right here. I'm going to leave some space because I'm not going to set it all the way down because some of these flag pieces are going to go underneath it. So I've got this little, where is it? This little guy. We're going to tuck under here. And then I've got this little piece and this little piece. It's going to tuck also. And I'm going to put this one right on top because I think it's cute. Okay, and then this little guy. Some little leaves on the side.
Pia says it shouldn't cause stress.
No, it should be fun, don't you think? I feel like this should be fun. It should be fun to make. Okay, yay! I think I did it. Did I miss anything? Hopefully not. And even if I did, I don't know that you would know. Okay, so this is my first project. This is project number 1, and it's done. I just have to go back through and add my journaling, which I will do. I promise and commit to you that I will do that. Do not say that you are done with your pages until your journaling is done. I am guilty of that on some of the pages that I have at home. I'm like, oh, I'm just going to journal that later when I have time. I promise you I will sit down and I will finish the journaling because that's the most important part of the story. Okay, project number 2. Are we ready?
Is anyone crafting along? Cropping? Doing it with us?
Is anyone with me? Or am I just doing this on my own? I'd love to know. And maybe we'll see some people on a replay too. I know it's the middle of the day. Okay, this is the light side also for project number 2.
Veronica says she thinks her grandkids are going to have more albums than her kids. She's done separate wedding albums.
So lucky. I hope these kids know what you've done for them. Hope they appreciate it. I know they will. Okay, so now we're going to start these pages. I've got all my pieces. I don't know if you can see this kind of off the screen. All of them in a little folder. Oh, Dorothy's scrapping right along with me. Yay! So exciting. Are you keeping pace? Are we good? Do I need to slow down? If you're cropping with me. Okay, so we're going to adhere 2A and 2D. So this is 2A, and this piece right here is 2D. So we're kind of creating that border piece. And then I've got these pieces here. It says adhere. Step number 3 is attach 2B and 2C. So let me make sure 2B and 2C. I'll put those together. So I'm kind of just creating two facing pieces. I think these scrapbooking workshop kits are great too because it kind of teaches you the components of a layout. So if you're new to scrapbooking, then this is a great education opportunity as well. Like I noticed in some of the layouts that you've got some anchor pieces or you've got some border pieces on the side. So I think just paying attention to the design of the spreads is helpful as well.
Heidi asked if you print your photos all the same size and figure out what size is needed before you print.
It depends. So with these, I knew what sizes I needed, but I just had them all printed 4x6 and then I figured I would crop them. But that isn't always the case. So sometimes if I've got a project, a specific one, then I'll break up a photo or enlarge some and do a 5x7 or something like that. So I feel like it just depends on what kind of a project I'm doing. Where this one tells me exactly what I needed, I looked through the photos on my phone and just printed them 4x6, figuring that I would adjust or crop as I went. Okay, great question. What about you? Do you print all your photos and then go from there, or do you size them and print them? So I've got my photo pieces. I'll use those in just a minute. Okay, step number 4, attach 2C. This is 2C right here, and attach 2F. So this is going to be on this side. So I've got a smaller piece here and a larger piece here.
As Tony says, now that she has a bunch of grandkids, her kids take out their albums to compare how much their kids look like themselves or other family members.
Isn't that the truth? I feel like that's happened with our grandbaby too. Everyone's comparing, does she look more like Seth or does she look more like Abby? And it is with pictures that they have in albums or at least archived somewhere, right? Okay, let's see, I'm going to kind of line these up from each other. The measurement here, just so you all know, if I'm looking at this, is like 2 inches from the bottom, so I'm just going to eyeball it. And it's kind of right there on the edge, so that's where I'll put it. Okay, so we've kind of got some offset pieces. And then we've got some diagonal die cuts. So this is the part that I feel like took me a little bit longer. I did kind of die cut all these pieces out. Pull them out, I guess I should say. So pull all of your pieces out. That'll be a fun project for another day. And then I'm just kind of going to situate where it needs to go and where the pieces need to go because I'm going to put these colored pieces behind it. And I need to know where they're going. So this particular one is going to go right here. So what I'm going to do is just remember where that's going to go. I'm going to flip it over. And then this way I'm going to use my tear and tape. I would recommend tear and tape for this one just because there's not like a huge border on around the strip. And so I'm going to use this as like a two for one. Okay, so I'm going to line it up over that little spot and then I'm going to use it as tape, but then I'll also be able to use it to adhere the piece to the project.
Could you maybe hold that up
Yep,
closer?
let me show you. Okay, so you can see that this piece, it's a peek through right here, and I'm just using tear and tape to attach that little peek through a solid color because there's not a really great big border, so I was trying to figure out how I would adhere it, and I feel like this is the easiest way, so this will also be how I adhere it to the page. Okay, So we've got another piece.
Julie had a question about doing 1 page versus 2 pages. So she's always done 1 page at a time, but she thinks this looks easier. What do you recommend?
I am generally always doing a 2-page spread at the same time. I feel like it's easier to spread out and line up my photos where I want them to go. And that way everything coordinates and like it goes seamlessly together as I open my book. So that's just how I've chosen to design my books, is in 2-page spreads so that the full spread flows from one side to the other. Okay, we've got that. Great question.
And then Catherine has a follow-up for her 30-year album that she put together.
Oh, yes.
She did 2 pages that were Boy Scouts, individual pages for sports. She did 2 pages on all the pictures from school, kindergarten through his senior pictures.
Oh my gosh.
These 2 pages were my favorite. His school pages included paper-bound yearbooks, report cards, awards, etc. I did 2 daddy pages. His wedding had 3 pages, which the last page was an 8x10. And she attached an envelope on the inside.
Great idea.
With a letter.
And a letter from her.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. That's a treasure for sure.
Yeah. And then Vicky, going back to photo sizes, she likes to print a collage, so she can either have 1, 2, 4, or 6 pictures on a 4x6.
Oh, that's a great way. If you have a lot of pictures, I think that's a great way to do it. So if you feel like just doing 4x6 is not going to cover that event, go ahead and collage that up and use more, especially if you have more for a trip or an event or a memory, right? For these, it's just like a day, or a simple drive up the canyon. But I can imagine if you had a wedding, it would be, you might choose to do like a bride and groom on one side and then some family, and then the rest are just going to be in the album. So I think it just depends on how you choose to lay out those photos. Love that idea though. Great idea and great suggestion. Shout out for Terran Tape. I feel like I need my fingernails though. There we go. And some of these are a little bit overlapping and I'm okay with that. Whoop. They'll just adhere to each other as we go along. This is kind of a cool effect, this whole stencil piece. This is just me. I'm having issues. There we go. Okay, so I've got my pieces, my background, and that's just going to go right here toward the center. So I'm just going to offset that a little bit and then stick it down. So I've got those colors peeking through in that background, and I'll do the same thing with this piece over here. I feel like this is the most time-consuming piece, but it also adds a whole lot of color back there that I think is fun, and some different peek-throughs that way too. Okay, so we'll line these up. Got this green piece, and then I'm kind of guessing where these things go. It's like fitting a puzzle together. That one's going to go here. So we'll just set this aside. No pressure, right? Putting together an album live, or a kit live. I did not do this beforehand, I promise you. So you're getting real and raw footage. And an idea of how it is to put them together. They're not hard at all. I think it's just following the steps and realizing where all of your pieces go and putting the puzzle together that is the page. But what I love about this is that I can sit and have a conversation with you and chat about your albums and your experiences as scrapbookers, or the albums that you've put together. And the only thing that would make this better is if we were in person, right? If we were sitting across the table from each other and putting our pages together, which is something that I know our demonstrators do. There are demonstrators that do classes like that where you're coming together and you're making these scrapbooking workshop kits, and you have a chance to hang out with friends too, which I think is so great. Can I just say, we all need a little bit more connection in our lives. And this is a great way to do it. You're accomplishing something meaningful and you're spending time together, sharing strategies, sharing stories, being friends. It's like a 2-for-1.
Sherry's working on an album of her and her husband from when they first met, and including immigration and all of their wedding.
Congratulations. That's quite the feat. Do you think it will be in one album, or do you think it will move into 2? That's a lot to chronicle.
Cynthia loves these colors peeking through.
It's such a fun technique, isn't it?
Veronica says you could also add some dimensionals.
Yes.
Add more to the page.
So I don't do that very often. I need to try that on some other pages. But yes, you could absolutely add dimension to your pages. I kind of feel like they're going to go in a page protector, so I don't always do that. But where I think it adds depth, then I think that would be fun too. So yes, you could absolutely use dimensionals. And I kind of want these to be across from each other, so I'm going to kind of line these up. Hopefully you got all of them in there. Okay, so now I've got the base of the 2-page spread. I feel like that might be a little crooked. Oh well, it'll be fine. Don't look too close. All right, so now I'm going to add some photos. You won't even hardly notice. Okay, so we've got these pieces. I'm making a mess on my floor. We'll have to take a picture afterwards of what that looks like. All right, so what photos? This is going to be a little bit interesting too, because I haven't decided exactly how I want my photos to go on these pages. So maybe you can help me. Some of these, this was fall break, and we went to a place we love in Idaho, our little cabin, and we did some work up there. Like, there's a story behind this. This is like a cupboard, a kitchen cupboard, and there was like contact paper in the bottom of the shelf, and it was horrible when we first bought it. And so I had pulled it all out, and then it would like left a sticky residue. So I was like, oh, I can't have that. And so then I found this really cool like sticky wallpaper, contact paper stuff. And so now my cabinets look so cute. It like was a project that made me happy. Okay, so I had to chronicle, like I have to tell about that. We've got, it was warm enough to have a fire. So we had the kids with us. So this page, just so that I am pointing this out, I'm going to have to decide what I put on one side and what I put on the other. And so, and if I want to add more, then I don't know, more than what than what is called for. So I'm like, do I do this over here? Do I do the family over here and Sean and I over here? Do I only need one? I don't know. What do we think? What should we do? I would love your insight. Do you have a preference? 1 or 2? 1, serious or silly? I'm going to have to decide. And this rainbow picture, like, I would just do this one for reals. So, might need to crop this one. So maybe we'll do kind of these things over here, and I'll kind of crop that down. And then maybe we'll do, I don't know, any votes for serious or silly?
Got a couple of votes. Nancy says you and Sean on each side. Pia says 1 when you were doing the 1 and 2.
Okay, so we're voting for serious.
Michelle says serious and silly.
Okay, we could do that. That would be funny.
Sherry says I would put the 2 in your hands and the rainbow on one page. So you and Sean and the rainbow.
And the rainbow on one page. Would you do? Oh, okay. I hope I'm getting this the way you're telling me.
And then Vicky says crop some of the photos, so I assume she means use all of them.
Yes, I will crop. Okay, so now that I know that I'm going to use some of these, this one I'm going to have to keep full size. So I'm going to have to kind of finagle the layout over here. should have planned ahead for this and decided, but it's kind of fun to hear what you all think. So hang with me while I get my trimmer out and crop to the size I need. Okay, so page number, let's see, this one's gonna have to stay. This was key. Stella took us on a little tour of Pocatello, and this is like where she wanted to stop. Yes, use flip-flaps, absolutely. I don't have any of those right now, so we're going with the pages as they are. And I can totally crop this. So I do not need, let's see, this project says I need 2 3x3, which is kind of over here, which I think I can crop this for sure. But I do want to see that wallpaper in this little measuring strip that I used. So we'll make this 3x3. Real and raw, friends, real and raw.
Nancy asked, what are flip-flops?
Flip-flaps. Okay, great question. They are kind of photo protectors that you can adhere to the front of your page protector that will flip up. So I could do like a photo in a flip-flap on top of the page, and it would flip up and show you the one underneath. And so it doesn't come with the scrapbooking workshop kit. I kind of am trying to stay pure to the kit, but there is a product coming. I actually don't know if we have any in stock right now. That
a few left,
is useful for that. Okay, so I've got my little piece here. We definitely can crop this. I think it's funny that he's got his legs right here. I feel like I don't need to show his hairy legs. I just want to see the fire. I mean, I can see his feet. Don't tell him I said that. So funny. Okay, so we'll get his feet right here. And I think I'm going to crop this way. You can see how my mind works. 3x3. I wanted it to be as close to the design page as I could get. So I think that's cute. And then I wonder if I'm going to put this piece over here. It's kind of how the layout works. So I think that's kind of fun. Okay. And then on the other side, I just love this photo. Don't you love this photo? I could probably put it over here, but I kind of feel like, maybe I'll crop this too, just a little bit. Because I need kind of a 4x4 over here. I want to see the double rainbow though, for sure. But I think this adds focus to the rainbow piece.
Karen says she's been a card stamper for 20 plus years and just wanting to begin scrapbooking, but feeling a little intimidated. She thinks starting is the hardest part.
I agree. That's why I like these scrapbooking workshop kits, truthfully. Okay, this is what I think I'm going to do. How do you think, like, how does this feel to everybody? And then if I want to add this later, I can add this funny one later.
With a flip-flop.
With a flip-flop, yeah. So we'll set this to the side. Tell me what you think. Does this look okay? I might need a little validation. Sometimes you just need a friend to say, you've got it. It's going to be great. So let me know what you think.
Says it looks great. Michelle says on page 2, can you move up the full picture a bit and add a journal square under it?
Okay. Love that.
Pia says it looks great.
Perfect. I kind of like the photos a little tilted. Then it might not be so obvious that I don't think I mounted them straight. Like, I don't think this is straight. That might bug me. So we're just going to hide that. Sarah, just commit. Okay, good.
You like the tilted.
I'm going tilted. Yep, totally going tilted on this one.
Vicky, this was a little while ago, she scraps genealogy pictures for preservation and documenting, and she tells a story with journaling.
Okay, that's amazing. I'm thinking about old photos that I have of my grandma that I need to do that with. I think that would be such a fun gift for our family. Okay. I'm going to create like a title bar here. That's kind of what's on the page, but I've also got these die cuts. So I've got this little piece. I've got 3 of these. So one of them is going to kind of go over here and not cover me up, obviously, but so I'm going to use this one.
Vicki asked about layering cardstock behind the photos.
I know, and I do have some extra cardstock. That would make them pop. But my friends, that is not part of these instructions, and I'm going to stick to it. But you could, yes, absolutely do that. Okay, we'll put this one here.
And then Roseanne had a couple more tips with flip-flops.
Oh,
Said
please
you
share.
can lift and put a journaling card or another picture underneath. So one flip-flop will have two pictures back to back, and then another one on the mat. So you can have journaling and pictures.
Both.
And you can add more than one flip-flop.
So added, fantastic. So added photos. So you're not just doing some more spreads. There we go. That's cute. My little leaf sticker here. I'm following along in case you can't tell. I'm just looking at the master spread and adding as I go. So it's not going to be exactly the same, I don't think, but I am trying to get it pretty close. So I'll add a little bit of this. I'm just going to tack this down. And we've got, can't get enough, oh, I like that. Can't get enough of this. Love that.
Veronica says, just so you know, the instructions are suggestions, and there's no reason you can't add your own spin to it.
Yes, I do feel like I have permission to do that, but I feel like if I do that, it's going to just take me longer. And then you're stuck with me longer, and I'm not sure how you're going to feel about that. Okay, we're going to put this here. You just want to hang out with me all day? Let's do it.
And Vicki says, as an artist, we add our own details.
Isn't that the truth? My little deer. Maybe a dimensional on this one. That'd be cute. Okay, I've got all my pieces here. Look at this cute little, these little accent leaves. Of course. Of course. Let's just put that little guy right there. And then I've got some little pieces right here, these little flag pieces up in the top corner. The challenge for me this time was to make them as close to the original as I could, because my goal was to show you how they come together and how if you feel intimidated, then it's totally doable. So I'm not changing the pages because I have a point to this. I want you to see how doable this is, that you can totally do this. If you have not started, it's worth it to start. Okay, so I've got to tack these down. I just want to make sure that they were in a good spot. So I'll just tack those down. If I decide I want to go back and put some cardstock or something under there, I totally can.
Veronica says, being stuck with you is no problem. It's the joy in the journey that counts.
Oh, so sweet.
Cheryl loves that we have scrapbooking kits and loves this layout.
Oh my gosh, I could tuck my photo in the little...
Oh.
That would be fun too. Inside the little, the stripes. Okay, I think that I have some other little pieces. Oh, these went over here.
Lori says, so fun to get those photos on a page and save that story.
I agree. This is such a fun trip. Up where we have our cabin, there are these trees, and they're just on fire when we go. And so we always try to get some photos under these trees. There are just 3 trees that are right next to the fire station, and they're kind of as we come out of the little canyon or off the peninsula where we have our cabin, and so it's been a picture spot for a few years. Okay. And so it's fun. Every time we go up there in the fall, they're just bright, bright red. So it's kind of a memory. We always stop there.
We have some new scrapbookers that are loving following along. And then they said, Nancy said, as down the road, as I become more comfortable, I'll add my own spin.
Yes, absolutely. I feel like I should have put maybe my title on first before I put the greenery. I'm kind of eyeballing it. So we'll hope that this works. Maybe I should look and see. Here's the one. I do love this. Grateful for this moment together. So I do want to have that be more centered. So that's why I'll put my leaves right here. And then this is just going to go kind of right in the middle and create that collage. I've also got some different pieces here that I can use, some little hearts if I want to add some to the top. This one is cute. I want to add a little bit of that. I already had one out. Hello. Super fun.
Gina likes following the instructions because she can make something quickly, yet it allows me to be creative with it if I want to.
I love that. I agree. I concur. All right. What do you think? I need some journaling on this page for sure. And so I may need to use some, that's why I left a little bit more space over here so that I could maybe put a little bit of journaling kind of just outside of this photo. So I'm sure I'm going to have extra stickers and things. And so I'll maybe use some of those. So we'll wait and see. But for now, check, project number 2. Okay, let's jump to project number 3. You still hanging with me?
Vicki likes this extra long live today.
Oh my goodness, you like hang out. It's going to end up being like an hour and a half. I don't know. That's not normally my my live length. Okay, this one we're going to use the crushed curry cardstock for the base. Do we think we should use the light side or the dark side? It doesn't really say. So we can decide. All right, so we've got this piece, and then we're going to add, got my adhesive right here. Okay, so I can tell we're going to attach 3A, 3B, and 3C. So A, B, C. And these are mirroring pages as well. So I've got this side and this side. So I don't know if you can see this actually. Can you see the instructions right here? So I've got this side, and then I've got this piece. How these line up. And then I've got some stripe here. So how I would do that is I would probably start in the center. That's what I would do. I'd start in the center and work my way out so that I'm getting the paper lined up the way that I want.
Veronica says, if it doesn't say light, it means the true side of the color.
The true side, I'm using the right side. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you are here with me. Okay, so I'm going to overlap this just a little bit. Maybe it'll go right together.
As she did say, but totally up to the person putting it together.
As always. As always. Okay. You definitely don't want to overlap them too much. Because they are measured to be about 1/4 inch from the side. and just line up. Okay, so how many of my friends out there are like generous adhesive users? Like, do you use lots of adhesive when you're putting your pages together, or your projects together, or very little?
I'm an over-adheser.
You use too much?
I use way too much. It's a problem.
I don't know if that's a problem. Your stuff's not going to go anywhere.
It's not, but I get sticky.
Okay.
Nikki says she's light on her adhesives.
All right, I've got all of my pieces here, so let's go down the list. We've got attached.
Karen and Veronica are my people. They said the more the better. Lots of adhesive.
All right, we've got 3. I got to concentrate. Hold on. 3M and 3N. So this is going to be here. 3M. This is 3D over here on this side. I'm assuming this is going to go like this. Did I get the right? I hope I got the right one. We'll look. Okay, so I have all of these pieces. I'm going to have to get my labels in place. Okay, so this piece. Okay, so we can see that this piece is going to go right here. And this piece is going to go right here. I just need to make sure I got all the pieces in the right place. I'm kind of a sorter as I'm going through these scrapbook workshop kits, which is a good thing, I think. Okay, so 3F. Let's see. Do not use adhesive along the top of some of these because you're gonna, that's why I'm a light adhesive person, so that I leave space to layer. So that's a good thing too. Okay, so these are going to be different photo mats, is what it looks like. So this is going to be, I'm going to adhere this piece and this piece. Build from the bottom up, friends, usually. I like the white border on this one.
It looks like we're mostly over adhesers. Heavy adhesives.
Okay, I'm unusual then. I guess you don't want them to fall apart.
Yeah, that's what a lot of comments are saying.
You gotta like keep it together.
Veronica says, don't even get me started on dimensionals. Karen Peterson converted me to more and more and more.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, hey, use it up. Use it up and grab some more. All right, so we've got, this is going to be a back for the photo. And I'm going to have to shift mine around, so I'm not adhering. Let me show you the photos. This is how I know. So we've got photos here. I have 4 that line up. And I mean, I may need to adapt these a little bit because my photos are a little bit bigger. So I'm just going to show you the photos so that we can decide what we're going to do. So these are all these photos are landscape, but they're just beautiful. And so I may have to adjust on my page. I think I could crop some of these, but this is where the photos would normally go, and I may just pull those off. So this is maybe where I'm going to adapt my page just a little bit because the scenery was just so pretty. So again, you can also use flip-flops this way. I might make some of these square, but they're going to end up being 4x4 instead of 3x3. And I think that's going to be totally fine. This one, on the other hand, instead of being a vertical photo, I'm actually going to have it be landscape. And we'll just adjust the layout accordingly, which is what we do, right? Okay, so I could do this a couple of different ways. I kind of like the horizontal look right here, and then I can add my photo, but that will still give me room to add, give thanks and maybe some things over here. So I'm just going to adjust this first page almost like I'm turning this portion around. So I'll do this at the top, and then I'll turn my give thanks and be able to have some of these accessories toward the side. Does that make sense? So I'm just going to move the elements around, and I think that's totally fine to do. This was such a fun drive up the canyon too. You can tell we like to go up the canyon quite a bit. It's just so pretty, especially when the leaves are changing. This one was almost like riding in a Jeep. It was in like an ATV, riding up the canyon. So wind blowing in your hair, which was fun as well. Okay, so we've got this piece, and then let me pull these over. All these extra pieces, I actually don't know. Oh, yep, you can see them. Okay, perfect. So I can kind of mix and match these pieces, but I think I'm going to trim these 4x4 because I feel like they're just as impactful if I just trim off the edge a little bit. So I feel like I don't need, we just do a little bit on each side so that I'm down to a 4x4.
Vicki says, these are photo albums to begin with. Adjust and adapt.
Fantastic. Do you like the left side or the right side?
Anne says, over years, I noticed the lines of glue show through no matter what type of glue it is.
Interesting.
She doesn't use a lot of glue either. That is interesting. I'll have to look at some of my old scrapbooks.
Okay, so this is how this one's going together. We're almost there. Look how much fun this is. Okay, I'm excited because it's done. It's going to be done, and I get to write about it and the fun that we had. Okay, so I'm going to add some glue to this. By the way, feel free to share this. If you feel like you know someone, or if you want to try this and you want to jump in on replay and put this together, please do. That's why I'm doing it. I'm hoping that this makes it a little bit less overwhelming. But be sure to check out the prep video that I did last week, because I think that's going to be helpful for you too, if you're new. Okay, so I might have these peeking just a little bit and follow that layout. So it's going to be a little bit different, but I think it's going to be pretty. Just like so. Perfect. Okay. And then of course we'll accessorize at the end. I love to get outside. There's something about a changing season that is appealing and inspiring to me. So I love to be outside for that and to see seasons change. We used to live in a place where, like when we were in Arizona, I noticed seasons changing less, right? It was just hot or warm. And so it's fun to be able to, oh, come on, glue. There we go. It's fun to be able to see the seasons change. Tear and tape is also a great adhesive to use for these. There we go.
Vicki talked about writing on the back of photos in case you need to remember dates, etc.
Okay, so that's an interesting idea. I like that. If you're printing your photos, then please do write the dates on the back. My photos came from my phone, and thank goodness my phone keeps track of dates. So that's how I'm keeping track of the dates on mine, is just looking back through the photos. And that will tell me when it was. So when I print them, then I'll know exactly when it was. I can write it on the back or put it on a sticky note to go with the spread. Okay, here is what I'm going to show you. There are some parts and pieces, of course, that are going to go together. I feel like I need to lay this out a little bit more. so you can kind of see how it's going to turn out. This was such an interesting trip because this was just a couple of weeks before our friend was in an accident. And so this was kind of a meaningful trip for up the canyon for us. Okay, I'm going to just set this right here and adjust. So it's good to have that memory. By the way, he's totally fine. So it's not like I'm remembering someone that's no longer here. But I also think we need to not take for granted the time we have and the memories that we've made. So it's important to capture them. Okay, so then I can use these pieces and accent here as well. Let's see, this is kind of where I want that little. A little tree stump or something. Okay. I've got some journaling pieces to go with the photo. And I might even place that up top instead of down below, since I'm adjusting this page.
Anne said, I wonder if you have extras of all your photos. That way you still have the original photo.
I'm sorry?
If you printed duplicates.
Oh, do I print duplicates? No, I didn't. I didn't print duplicates because I have them saved in the cloud, right? Like, so I'll always have them if I want to print more. That's just kind of how I look at it. Doesn't mean it's right. How many of you out there print doubles so that you've got them? I used to do that. I don't as much anymore because I know where I can get them. It's not like taking negatives to get them developed. If I was doing that, I would definitely print too. But these are just so accessible because they're accessible by phone or computer, and I can just send them to print. But I'd be interested to know, very grateful here, what you all do. Okay, so I've got to still do some of these dovetail pieces. And so it says to dovetail. Let me get these pieces all together. So we have my labeled pieces. This is 3G. And get them in the right spot. That one's going to go over here. And then I've got a green one, and this one, and then these pieces. Got this one, these three. Okay, so I'm going to dovetail these. We're getting good at this.
Debbie's following along, and she's going to go back and finish. She's working on the last set of pages now, but enjoying this so much.
Oh, thank you for joining. Love, love, love having you. Love all the tips and tricks too. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise with anyone watching, because I have a feeling I'm going to go back to this and remember all of your tips and tricks and ideas for doing albums for sure. Okay, do a little flag here. Abby, how you doing? You hanging in there?
Yep.
How about all of you out there? How we doing?
Debbie,
Feel like this is something you could do?
Debbie Douglas says she just finished a different scrapbook workshop kit and she needs to get busy on a fall one. She loves these kits and loves that she gets to make cards with all the leftover paper scraps.
Oh, love that. And I feel like we should be related if her last name is Douglas. But it's probably spelled differently. Maybe distant cousins or something with the last name. Okay, so I'm going to prop these a little bit differently and pull this label up so that I can stick this right in there. Because I still want to have the flags. Either that or I'll stick them out the bottom. I can't quite decide yet. Okay, I think we are about there, friends. What do you think? Is this something that you would try? Is this something that you've tried before? I can tell some of you have done this before, and I appreciate your suggestions and all of the insights that you have contributed. Thank you, thank you, thank you. For those that may be new to scrapbooking, I hope this inspires you to give it a try. Set aside some time, an afternoon or something like that. Gather some photos and remember a little bit about the experiences that you had. If I had followed the instructions, this would be adhered later. Since I didn't, this is what we're going to do. All right. It's going to tear all that down. So you can tell how this page is going to go together. I've got some other little pieces that I can, of course, add, and some little labels. The happy day I did want to add up here. Off center or in the corner. I think I'm going to do in the corner. Okay, and then I've got some little journaling pieces here. My grateful down at the bottom, I'll add some little hearts, and I think we're good to go, friends. How did we do? Project number 3 is done. Get that up here.
Pam loves this, and she's looking forward to future kits.
Love it. If you haven't gotten a chance to pick up the Autumn to Remember Scrapbooking Workshop Kit, this is a really great place to start. You can see that in just about an hour and a half, hour and 20 minutes, we've gotten 3 spreads done. That's 6 pages, which is averaging about 15 minutes a page. I mean, that's not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. Let me flip my camera around. Thanks everyone for joining me. Feel free to share this video or come back to it once you have your Autumn to Remember Scrapbooking Workshop Kit. If you loved this idea of prepping beforehand and putting spreads together, let me know in the comments so that I know if this is something that we continue to do. All right, everyone, have a good night. Bye-bye.